Okay, hi guys, and welcome to another video. In my previous video, I demonstrated the techniques of how to perform mutabilia. This is an essential step to perform before proceeding with the Warangan Bilah stage. For the Warangan to react effectively with the Keris blade, it must be completely free of any traces of rust or past Warangan coatings. Today we will be using this Warangan batch, which I have prepared in March of 2022. Prior to leaving the blade to soak in the Warangan solution, I personally prefer to perform the Bugas Mapuali technique first. For a detailed explanation and visual demonstration, you may refer to my earlier video. The link to that video should be appearing on the top right-hand corner of this video anytime from now. Why I personally prefer to do this first is to remove any final traces of rust and impurities from the Keris blade, and at the same time prepare the surface of the blade to react with the Warangan when it is immersed in it. It is important to note that before leaving the blade to soak in the Warangan, ensure there are no visible traces of lime pulps on the Keris blade. The presence of lime pulps on the surface of the Keris blade will result in an uneven surface reaction with the Warangan solution, leaving you with a blotchy-looking blade. So it would be worth the patience to take your time to remove any visible traces of lime pulp first, instead of rushing to leave the blade immersed in the Warangan solution. You do not need to rinse the blade. Please be reminded that the Warangan solution must never come into contact with any other liquids other than lime juice. Exposing Warangan solution to liquids like detergent, oils and water will render its reactive qualities inert and will stop any reactions with iron and nickel-based blades. Choosing a suitable container that fits the Keris blade with sufficient depth is important. The blade must be completely submerged in the Warangan solution for an even and equal reaction. Else you will get a blade with an uneven coat of Warangan on the surface of the blade. Before using your Warangan solution, you must ensure that it has gone through several rounds of filtration to filter out the Warangan sediments. Sediment particles of Warangan powder will also affect the Warangan process, especially if you are using realgar as your base ingredient for the Warangan solution. Remnants of realgar sediments will result in your Keris blade to be stained and discolored with either a yellowish or reddish hue, depending on the color of the realgar used. So it is important to let the Warangan settle down and filter it with filter papers first before use. You want a Warangan solution that looks like this. Observe how there are no visible particles floating in the solution. This is the minimal quality of Warangan fit for use in this stage. If it is a fresh batch of Warangan under a year old, and seldom used in the Merangi process, the Warangan will not be dark jet black in color. It will be yellowish brown in color, but that does not mean it is not fit for use. For a Warangan solution to mature, it must be put to use. Only then will it mature and becomes blacker over time. Here I am adding an additional mixture of babonan and lime juice to increase the volume of the Warangan solution, so the Keris blade is completely submerged under it. Babonan is Warangan solution that is inert and no longer reacts with iron, as it has not been used in a Merangi process for a long time. However, it still has its use as a catalyst to react with fresh Warangan to activate its chemical composition to react with iron. Hence, as long as the Warangan is not contaminated with water, oils, and detergent as mentioned earlier, it still has a function as babonan mix to kickstart the reaction in a fresh Warangan mix. Depending on the maturity of the Warangan solution. For realgar-based Warangan, minimally 30 minutes bath per side is sufficient to see a reaction. Here is the blade after about 45 minutes. Observe the contrast. The Warangan solution has successfully reacted with the various metal types on this Keris blade as expected. This means that this Warangan solution is reactive. It is important to understand that not all Keris blades will react the same with a specific Warangan solution, depending on the composition of metals used by the impu or Pandai Besi to produce the Keris blade. Some materials may not even react with the Warangan solution at all. Now the next stage to establish if this Warangan solution is fit for use is to leave this blade to drip dry for the next 5 minutes if the Warangan is too fresh. Upon drying, the blade will be back to its original muta state. That would indicate that the Warangan is not ready for use just yet.
5 minutes later.
Now this is what we are expecting. After 5 minutes, this is what we want. Observe that the blade retains its Warangan staining. The parts containing iron are darker as compared to parts containing lesser iron composition. What is done next is to massage the surface of the Keris blade, with your fingers pushing any remaining stains away from the blade. Your fingers should feel slightly tacky and sticky. If it is too sticky, it means your Warangan solution is too concentrated and needs to be adjusted with lime juice. Observe the surface of the Keris blade. Contrary to claims by observers from the West that Warangan damages the Keris blade, when done properly, with respect and acknowledgement to tradition, the Keris blade is made more beautiful than before. If the Warangan solution had not been properly filtered before use, it is at this drying stage that your Keris blade will show a reddish or yellowish hue staining. That would be a bad sign, as it means that the realgar particles have embedded itself into the pores of the Keris blade. This needs to be quickly remedied with installment, as shown in the end segment of my previous video. I hope you have learned something of value in today's video, and I sincerely hope that you are a subscriber to this channel. If you have not subscribed, do have a care and consider to subscribe, like or share if you would. Your support means a lot to me and will help this channel to reach out to a wider audience and help other Keris enthusiasts out there to find this channel on their list of recommended channels on all things Keris related. This Keris blade is turning out well. There are no discolorations so far and the Warangan staining are in the correct places as to where it should be. Most important of all, there is no significant indication of corrosion resulting from the Warangan bath or previous muta preparation. Ideally, an experienced Moranju will have in store various types of Warangan in varying concentration and maturity, depending of the type of metals worked on. After the initial bath in a basic Warangan solution, he will then pick the next Warangan type, suitable for the Keris blade. It is never a one-size-fits-all solution. The Morangas of old were so flexible from experience that is no exact way to conclude that a specific solution is applicable to all. Flexibility in application is the basic fundamental guided by experience and observation. This is suggestive of a complex and sophisticated logic of thinking and mindset. Next, we will leave this blade to dry completely before rinsing it off with warm soapy water. Again, this is to provide an indicator if the blade is ready for the final finish. If upon drying the blade looks pale and absent of contrasting colors, then it would need to be immersed in Warangan again.
A few minutes later.
It's been 30 minutes and the blade has been air dried, much to our satisfaction. This is what we are expecting from this batch of Warangan which has not fully matured. This is an acceptable finish, and we may proceed with the final rinse with warm soapy water and leave it to completely dry. The warm soapy water will neutralize any remnants of lime juice and traces of realgar that is still on the surface or pores of the Keris blade. No brushing is needed. Just rub and massage with your fingers will do. If the blade turns white upon rinsing, that is a clear indicator that the Warangan is too fresh and requires more time before it can be put to use effectively. Here is the end result. Do note that this is the result from a fairly fresh batch of Warangan that has yet to reach a year old, still within 9 months period. I may do another Morangi session when this batch of Warangan reaches a year old. Thank you for watching till the end. I look forward to reading your comments and feedback. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay curious.